I'm here with the current WBO welterweight champion of the world, Jeff the Hornet Horn, and his trainer and manager, Glenn Rushton. They have finally made their way to Las Vegas. They have been training. It's fight week, and he has a big task in front of him with Terence Crawford. And guys, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it.
That's all right. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, you're very welcome, Peter. It's great to be here.
So first and foremost, there's been, this has to be, in my opinion, I know you guys. I've gotten to know you guys over the course of 2 trips to Australia. We were adversaries in one fight. I had another fighter on the Horn Pacquiao card. And I feel like being at 2 of your fights, Jeff, I kind of feel like I know you better than most American fight fans, and for that matter, most Americans that are in the fight game. So,
Yep.
You know, first and foremost, what I wanted to know is, I mean, first we had the injury, right? Terence Crawford hurt his hand, kind of annoyed you guys, put things off. Then we have the horsehair gloves. Then you get in a fender bender. Then you're training in a gym that's about 100 degrees. So, you know, the lead up to this thing has been very interesting. I've been reading a lot about what's been going on. So let me ask you guys something. From your preparation standpoint, how have you handled a lot of these distractions?
Look, I've been fine. Like, I don't let too much faze me anyway, but Glenn's the same. He's taught me that as well, and it's in my personality, in my nature, not to let these small things bother me.
Yeah, we just adapt, Peter. Whatever happens, we adapt to it. If we're going to fight it, we're just going to burn energy. So we just adapt to whatever happens and get on with the job, and we're here to get a job done. And we have every intention of completing that task next Saturday night.
Have you guys watched the Cobra Kai series on YouTube, Red?
No.
Have you heard about it? Have you seen it? It's the
No.
30 years later. Oh, you guys got to check it out. It's fantastic. It's 30 years later of past the Karate Kid, right? So it's Daniel LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence, where they are today.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen it.
And like I said, I know you guys. A lot of the people that are going to watch this video, that are going to read this article, they don't, you know, they've only know what they've known through seeing you fight. I've spent time around you guys. There's like this Miyagi-Danielson relationship between the 2 of you. And I'm telling you, you know, it's Glenn. Most people have no idea who Glenn Rushton is, okay? And so I've gotten to spend some time with you. I've gotten to talk to you, and there's just this Miyagi type of vibe, this wisdom, this intensity. And the only thing that I regret the last time I saw you was after the weigh-in for Pacquiao, we were talking, and you said, Peter, I have a 10-point plan. I actually wish I would have asked you what those 10 points were.
He wouldn't have told you back then anyway, so it's all right.
I know you have another plan in place.
Yes.
All joking aside, and from your perspective, from Jeff's trainer, what is it that what you want to tell me? Okay, as much as you want to share. What's the game plan?
The game plan, naturally, we're not going to disclose the game plan, but what I will say is Crawford's a brilliant boxer. We all know he's a brilliant boxer. He's great in either stance. He's just as good going forward as he is going backwards. But he has weaknesses, and at the end of the day, he is just a man. He's 5'8", just 5'9". He's just a man. He's not a god. He bleeds, he hurts, and he'll feel pain. He's fought guys before. A lot of them have been a little bit older, or they've been guys that have come up from lighter weight divisions, such as Gamboa, etc. But a big, strong welterweight like Jeff is incredibly determined, really fit, and very skillful. When Jeff hits Crawford, he's going to really feel that pain. And with these horsehair gloves, which I believe they will be wearing, it's going to hurt. You know, and when it hurts, he will go down, just like anybody else. So we're very relaxed, very confident, and very well prepared.
You know, when I heard about the whole discussion about the horsehair gloves, are you guys using Reyes gloves? Is that what it is? You're using Reyes?
They're the MX Everlast horsehair gloves. The ones made in Mexico, the handmade Mexican Everlast MX, they're called, yes. And they are sanctioned by the NSAC, and certainly I have every belief they'll be wearing them, because when we've communicated with Top Rank, they've given us no indication he won't be wearing them, even though his trainer, Brian McIntyre, did say that they're outlawed in boxing, which is incorrect. He said that they don't use them, but we have every belief they do. From what we've been told, they have been using them for most of his fights. So, in our opinion, they will be wearing the horsehair gloves. So we will be wearing the same gloves as Terence Crawford, rest assured.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that when this was taking place, and I kept thinking to myself, this actually could be an advantage for Jeff. I mean, most casual boxing fans don't realize that the purpose of the glove is to protect the hand, not to protect the face that's getting hit. And
exactly.
In this case, I mean, Jeff's the bigger man, and Jeff might be the stronger man, and that glove might benefit. That might be a benefit as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, we think so too. We'd rather wear the foam gloves, but again, we can't stop them wearing them. So all we can do is match fire with fire, and we will certainly do that. And as I say, I believe it will benefit Jeff more than Terence Crawford.
Jeff, you had Ray Robinson in camp as your main sparring partner, right?
Yes.
How was that work, and how do you feel that prepared you for this fight? Do you think Ray was able to emulate what you see of Crawford?
Yeah, I think he had the closest style I think we could get to Terence Crawford, especially the southpaw work and the craftiness. I haven't come up against an American opponent yet, and there was just something about him, having him over here in Australia, that he was just crafty, and I could tell that about him, and I learned a lot of things even in the sparring that I did with him.
Yeah, he's very slick, and it was brilliant sparring with Ray Robinson. We can't thank him enough. It was a wonderful 40 rounds that we did with Ray, and I think it's just capped Jeff off beautifully.
Jeff, has any of this pressure gotten to you? And let me finish the whole question here. You're the world champion. You won this title almost a year ago. It was a very close fight. You won the title. You then defended it once. You're now coming to the United States. You're in the United States. You're going to defend it for a second time. And do you feel there's still a little bit of disrespect when people talk about the welterweight division? And have you felt any extra pressure coming into the fight on the 9th?
I don't feel any more extra pressure on myself at all. I think, especially what the odds are saying, they expect me to lose. Not that I expect myself to lose. I always expect to win, and I believe I will still. But it is frustrating not having the respect that I feel like I deserve. But after this fight, hopefully I gain a bit more from having beaten another champion out there.
It's interesting that you bring up the odds, because according to uwager.eu, the odds have been dropping. Money is coming in on you. Originally, in U.S. terms, Horn or Crawford was minus 1,200. He's dropped to minus 800. I believe you were minus 650. I'm plus 650. You dropped to plus 500. There is money coming in on you, and I suspect, as I always write my betting guide, all of my betting value for this fight is going to be on Jeff Horn. And I really believe that that the gap is gonna get a little bit closer. And look, you don't have to thank me. I think by now, if you read what I write or you talk to me, I'm very indifferent. So I love you guys, right? I like you guys, and I wish you the best. But I'm always going to write it or express it as I see it. And I think that in large part, people underestimate you, and mostly because they just still don't know enough about you. I mean, when you look at it, if everything was decided on paper, they'd never fight the fights, right? It would just say, on paper, this guy looks like this. But in your case, you're an Olympian. You're an undefeated professional fighter. And regardless of what people think, it doesn't matter. 3 judges had you beating probably one of the greatest fighters of all time unanimously. So whether people want to believe it or not doesn't really matter. And I think you have the opportunity on Saturday night to beat Terence Crawford and really cement yourself as one of the top 10 pound for pound. And I think that that's something that's right in your grasp. And have you played this fight out in your mind? Have you visualized it? What are your thoughts now that you've hit fight week?
I've visualized it plenty of times, and I keep on visualizing myself winning. Sometimes I keep even visualizing a knockout victory, as I did with one of my fights, Sam Columban. I had a one-punch knockout in 78 seconds, and for some reason, I keep playing that in my mind. Like, I don't expect the fight to go short and easy like that, because that's a quick fight. I expect a hard 12-round fight, but yeah, that's all I keep picturing in my mind is just a knockout. I don't know when it will be, but hopefully it's true. It comes true.
Yeah, there's two words that just keep going over and over in our minds, and it's these two words: and still, and still, and still. So, we continually hear those words, and I have no doubt we'll hear those words again come Saturday night. And one of the things in Jeff's favour is he's been down in the trenches with a legend, and he's fought it out tooth and nail, hammer and tong, with a legend like Manny Pacquiao. And I don't believe that whilst Terence Crawford has fought some great fighters, I don't think you'd put any of them in the category of Manny Pacquiao. So Jeff, having done 12 rounds with Manny Pacquiao and emerged the victor, not only in the initial scorecards, but also in the recount, despite what some people thought, certainly I think it gives us terrific confidence, a lot of belief, and Jeff's grown a lot in stature, both physically and mentally, since the Manny Pacquiao fight. And we don't have to grow a lot from Manny Pacquiao to beat Terence Crawford.
Yeah, and Glenn, it's a great point, right? I mean, it's just two men that weigh the same, getting in a ring and fighting. And so,
absolutely.
From that standpoint, and we've all heard the cliche, styles make fights. And
yes.
the one thing I would always say to people leading into the Pacquiao fight was, yes, I did go to Australia with Randall Bailey. Randall was already 42 years old on the other side of his career, but nonetheless, he was a 3-time 2-division world champion who, they always say the last thing to go in boxing is power. And he hit Jeff with a shot that rattled Jeff, but Jeff didn't go down and came back and then was able to get Randall to quit. And I think we saw that same thing happen in the Pacquiao fight. And so it kind of confuses me when I hear people still underestimating Jeff, but at the same time, do you think that Crawford's trainers' comments over the past week or so, or week or two, you think they're come out of fear, frustration, the unknown, and you know what I'm referring to?
I do. I believe they're concerned, they're worried. As Jeff said, all the pressure's on them. Everyone has these huge expectations of Crawford, and he's come along, and yes, he's a brilliant boxer, we give him that credit, but if you look at a lot of the boxers, they've either been old or had fairly low knockout percentage, or they've been lighter fighters that have come up in division. So I think there's that lingering doubt in his mind as to how am I going to cope with a big, strong, determined, skillful, genuine welterweight. It's my first crack at 147. Is he going to make the grade? Okay, or is he going to be found wanting? And I think there's that lingering doubt in their mind. They haven't been fully tested in this weight division, and that test is coming under an awful lot of pressure here in his home country.
Yeah, I believe that too. I mean, look, Crawford's a great fighter. There's no doubt about it. I mean, he's a special fighter too, and that's what makes this matchup so great, because this also allows Jeff to cement his position as one of the top welterweights in the world at that point, which is what you need. You need to fight the best, right? To be the best, you got to beat the best, and I think that's what's prime. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's perfect.
They're both 30. The prime of your boxing life is when you're about 30. So you've got the experience and the strength, and you're still not over the hill. So I think this is a great fight. This could be the fight of the year. We've got two boxers here, both undefeated, both in their prime. One, the current world champion, the other, the best rated as the best pound-for-pound fighter on the planet. So you put the two of them together, and we're in for one heck of a fight come Saturday night. This is going to be something really, really special, this fight.
Yeah.
And we're ready.
And so from a preparation standpoint, I want to ask this because this is what everybody else encounters when they come to Australia to fight you. How did it feel touching down and then adjusting, getting into the gym? I know you weren't happy with the top-ranked gym, and I think you might have switched gyms since then. But take me through that. Like, this is your first taste of really having that experience. And what has that been like as far as the adjustment goes, just coming, maybe 10 days prior?
Well, we expected when we got here, we've all travelled plenty before, so we know what the effects of jet lag are. We knew what to expect, so there's no surprises there. I must admit, when I went to the Top Rank gym, I just had this vision in my mind that it'd be this state-of-the-art facility, and it was pretty. It wasn't quite what I thought. There's one speed bag completely deflated. The others weren't even there. There's a few bags. It was dusty. It was hot. It was not air. There was air conditioning there, but it apparently hasn't worked for a long time or been used. It just really felt, it wasn't quite what we expected. I thought we'd sort of gone back in time a little bit there. I thought in the middle of the desert you'd have this wonderful state-of-the-art facility. But that's okay. Once again, we've got to adapt. We are going to a different facility today to train in Kevin Barry's gym, so we're going to head over there and see how that works out. But the Top Rank staff have been wonderful to us. I can't fault them. They've been very, very good. It's just the gym wasn't quite what we thought. And the heat here, it's 107 degrees here tomorrow.
Yeah, well, Jeff, you look good. I mean, I'm going to tell you straight up. To me, in the past, it's looked like you might have struggled a little bit to make weight. I know that's a frustrating part of the preparation for you. But right now, you look good. What have you guys done a little differently to help you make it more manageable this time?
Look, I've just had a dietitian jump on board, and he's really been working close with me this preparation to make sure that my weight comes down, and I've been doing skin folds and things like that, making sure that I'm eating things at the right time around training, and it seems to be dropping off pretty well, and I'm sitting exactly where I want to be. So,
Glenn, going back to my Miyagi reference, when I first saw you hold a pair of mitts in Brisbane at the open workout, and I saw you doing this whole little thing, I thought this guy was crazy, right? I'm like, this guy's nuts. Like, this is going to be an easy night for Randall. Of course, I was wrong, but nonetheless, I then heard the old, bite off more than you can chew and chew like hell. So what kind of Glenn Rushton wisdom can you leave us with going into this fight?
I think the bottom line is this fight's going to, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to a battle of spirits. Fast legs will always beat fast hands, and I think we can negate all of the strengths and speed and skill that Terence Crawford has, and I think it'll then just come down to a battle of spirits here. And if you want to get down and dirty in the trenches, you want a guy by your side. You'd never pick a guy other than Jeff Horn. He's got, as I said, a heart as big as Suncorp Stadium, a chin that's as tough as granite. He's skillful, and I've never met anyone as determined as Jeff Horn. And winners find a way to win, and losers find a way to lose. And Jeff Horn is a winner, and he will emerge on Saturday night victorious. I have no doubt whatsoever about that.
And look what I've got in my ear. The confidence I get from Glenn Rushton.
Exactly, and most people don't know Glenn has had a successful career as a financial advisor. He's a martial artist, and that discipline and intensity, it just exudes from him when you're in person. So it's just sort of seems to be 10 times that when you're around him. You feel that energy. So Jeff, one more thing I want to ask you. The one thing that a lot of people might use as criticism with you is they use the word, Jeff Horn fights dirty, right? Now, I don't believe you fight dirty. I think you fight rough, and it's a fight, right? So I think that you use a certain style to get guys off their game, to make them uncomfortable, to make them have to adapt. And do you see this potentially becoming potentially an ugly fight with Crawford potentially being ready for what he might consider roughhouse tactics? Do you ever think about what that could turn into, and have you prepared, obviously, for that type of fight?
Look, I'm prepared to obviously fight in close if I have to fight in close, because I am the bigger guy, and I think you could go either way. You could say it's an advantage for me to fight on the outside because I'm bigger and longer, but I think his reach is probably more than me anyway. Or it's better for me to fight in close and rough him up a bit. But my tactic's never to fight dirty, to head clash or anything like this, or headbutt or elbow. These things just happen when you're in close and you're both waving punches at each other.
Yeah, I think the fact
Jeff never goes out of his way to fight dirty in any way, shape, or form. He's a genuine sportsman, but it is like you said, Peter. It's a fight. We're not playing tiddlywinks here.
Exactly.
So this is a serious business, and we're there to win. And we know Crawford will be too. And we don't care. There's only one style I often say to Jeff that we want, and that's the style that climbs through the ropes. once he gets through those ropes, as long as he does anything within the rules, and we rely on the referee to make sure that happens, we don't care. We don't care whether he wants to fight from southpaw or orthodox. We just don't care. We don't care what direction he's moving in. None of that bothers us whatsoever. Bring his A game. We want him to bring his A game. No excuses, and may the best man win on the night.
Glenn, I'm hiring you as my life coach moving forward.
Thanks, Peter.
Jeff, anything else you want to add before we go here?
No, not really. I'm pretty good, and I'm just relaxed and ready for another week and fight on Saturday.
We're just about to head off and train now, Peter.
Anything you want to say to the American audience, American fans that might not know Jeff Horn?
No, just tune in if you want to watch instead of listening to whoever's calling the fight or whatever. Just tune in, watch it, see what I can do, and make your own opinion.
Yeah, Peter, we believe that the American crowd, whilst they don't know Jeff very well yet, we believe they will know him after Saturday night, and I think they'll respect Jeff. I think they'll like him. They'll realise he's a very humble guy, a very warm, friendly person. He's everybody's, friend, the guy next door. I think, America will really warm to Jeff Horn, and I really hope that on Saturday night they will get behind him. They'll realise he's a true warrior of the sport. He's come here to put on a terrific fight, great entertainment value, and I'd encourage them to tune in, because the ones who don't tune in are going to miss a great fight. Just like with Pacquiao. When they tuned in to watch Pacquiao, they saw one of the best fights of the year. And this will once again be an absolutely memorable fight. So by all means, tune in, enjoy the fight, and I think you'll love Jeff Horn.
But listen, I want to thank you for joining me here, and I just want to thank you for taking the time, and good luck on Saturday night.
Thanks, Peter.
You're very welcome, Peter, and we hope you make it. Cheers.